spell penetrates deep into the cosmos. Even in the darkest spots, living beings are able to hear it clearly, so that all suffering in them cease. Understanding comes to their heart, and they transcend the path of sorrow and death.
So every now and then I answer a question on Quora when I have the time, when I feel called. And this is the second time I've seen this question. It's a really good question and way too long of an answer to post on Quora. So I'm gonna answer it here. Who's spirit? When a tarot reader says they're talking to spirit, who are they talking to? That's the question. There's a lot to say on that. You have to have a lot of knowledge and work with discernment, and especially know yourself. And that little spirit, it might not be spirit, it might not be the spirit. So I don't recommend dabbling, just getting into channeling without knowing anything, because it can be pretty dangerous. There's a lot in the astral realm. So basically, everything is energy, right? Thoughts have forms. There are gridworks of consciousness. If, as you're there behind the screen and I'm talking to you, relaying information, there's actually like a tube of light code going from my head to your head, transmitting information, and it's in the form of light and sound waves. It's all light code, and it's faster than the speed of light, and it's making a grid from my mind to yours. So there's one line, right? Planet Earth is trapped in a gridlock with the moon. You have the moon constantly locked into Earth, right? It's always facing the Earth, just gridded on, and it's pulling our energy, it's pulling our emotions on all of humanity. It pulls the ocean waves, it pulls our emotions, and the moon affects us. So we're kind of gridlocked with the moon pulling on our emotions. And we have other planets with their pull as well. And what a lot of people tap into when they're channeling, talking to spirit, is the astral. The astral is this realm that is invisible to the human 3D eye because it's the fourth dimension. So it's all around us or within us, depending which way you want to look at it. And it's just a mosh pit of all kinds of information. Shells of people, fragments, bits of past and futures, deceased people, imprints. You have AI programming in there. You have Luciferian spirits, which may be good or evil. That Luciferian just wants to bring you up, but it can be, Lucifer was redeemed. So there's different pushes and pulls going on in the astral that you have to be very aware of, because if there's anything unsettled in you, any unhealed trauma, you're gonna lock into a grid work that's connected with that. And you could tap into anything along that grid work if you're not extremely careful or very healed. You need to have inner peace. You need to be very aligned if you're gonna channel properly, and you need to have the gift for it, to not get lost and go completely insane. It's very easy to go insane, especially nowadays, because we have all this programming put on us that's meant to drag us into confusion and chaos. This is a spiritual war. You have to accept that. There's forces of evil out there, just as there are forces of good. And to escape this trap of sorrow that keeps us in karmic suffering, to transcend that, we need to align with our inner divinity, clarity, and truth, which is what I and many people call the Christos, the Christed consciousness. It's not Jesus. Jesus embodied Christos. So did the Buddha to a lesser extent, and other ascended masters. Christos is in each and every one of us, whether you're Christian or not. If you have a soul, you have that light inside of you that is the spark of the divine. And the spirits of Christ, or Christos, are patience, kindness, generosity, humility, diligence, and discipline, which is conservation, the spirit of conservation. It's, the spirits of Lucifer would be gluttony, hedonism, taken to its extreme. So the Christos spirit is seeking to bring into balance, or to keep at bay anything that is pulling it out of balance, and to clear it out. So you have the light of Lucifer, which can be called the false light, which a lot of people are getting sucked into through these New Age movements, because there is a Luciferian light that is not the light that is for the highest good of all. It's a light that just says, hey, come on, let's play Do It Feels Good. If it raises your energy, it must be good. And that's how you get into gluttony and greed and all these vices that are Luciferian. And it's, even though it feels good at the time, it's not healthy. It's not for your highest good. And so this is where discernment comes in. Because it's okay to play a bit where if something feels good, but you have to have discernment if it's not healthy for you or for another person. Because the light of Christos takes into account the law of one. You don't want to do anything that would harm somebody else, because we are all connected. So you discern, is this healthy or is this not healthy? Lucifer already had his embodiment long before Christ, and he was redeemed. So the good thing about this Luciferian energy is that it can be redeemed with discernment, with acknowledgement of your wrongdoings. By sitting in the seat of accountability, that's where growth happens. And Christos loves that. We're here to learn. We're not here to be perfect and to think that we're perfect and think that we're better than everybody else. The law of one likes it when we realize we did wrong and we make an about face. So the light of Christos doesn't seek to just kill everything else. It sees that these other forces do serve a purpose, but they must be kept at bay. The way Rudolf Steiner put it is, you have Lucifer wanting to bring everything up, and he called Ahriman, this other force, wanting to densify everything. So you have Lucifer wanting to make everything go into spirit, and Ahriman, which is like a Zoroastrian demon of chaos. Let's just call it AI for our purposes. I'm not an Ahriman specialist or eighth sphere specialist, but you could liken this grid around the earth that's keeping us trapped here in karma and programming. These what he calls Ahriman spirit is seeking to densify everything. So that's like the God particle smasher, trying to make God into matter, to put a label on everything and divide everything. Everything has this little spot, and make it physical and preserve the body and insert a chip in you to get enlightenment. All this is what Rudolf Steiner would call Ahriman demon stuff. And so seeking to bring everything down, and you have Lucifer seeking to bring everything too high, and then you have the Christos essence in the middle, just keeping the others at bay so you can stay aligned in your true purpose, to transcend all the suffering on the earth, which is due to this gridlock that's around us. You have the programming from your childhood, your karmic programming from your parents and past lives. You have so much programming in you that you don't even know you have in you until you can completely deprogram yourself and reboot, which is really hard to do without some serious plant medicines or frog medicines, or like going on to live in a cave or a mountain for a very long time. It's insane the amount of programming we have. And thinking outside of the box is really literally stepping outside of all that programming and witnessing it for what it is. And worse, you have programming to play on programming that's seeking to break free from the programming. It can get very confusing. Like, okay, so you have the woke program that's being trended by AI. And that's a play, it's an inversion on the awakening agenda that is either human, a part of our natural procession, or being aided by good aliens helping us with this ascension process, what have you. And you have this other inversion at play saying we're woke, but really everything they're being fed into that programming is the opposite of awakening. You have Michael and Mary reversal grids, the Yahweh reversal grid. So much. It doesn't mean that if you have Michael in your sphere, the real Archangel Michael, and you believe in Mary, that all of a sudden they're bad. No, it means there's a programming grid out there called a Michael-Mary reversal grid, because that's what they wanted to name it, because they like to depurify everything Christed and holy. Purity is the other spirit of Christ, I forgot to mention. So they try to make everything impure. They actually call it a sword of Michael. That's how the Michael-Mary reversal grid started, because the sword of Michael is like a blue beam from outer space. It's like, you could see it as a satellite if you want, like just beaming light codes and information to clip our wings, actually. You know, because the real Michael is the essence of courage, confidence. That's what it is. It's an essence. Michael is there to make you confident and courageous, to stand in your power, like all Christed good holy things are. Now, then you have this other inversion, negative programming stuff with dark alien warfare, on a negative alien agenda, where they actually have holographic inserts of some fake Michaels. So as you could you could think you're talking to Michael when you're channeling, but it's not Michael. And how would you know? You have to know yourself. You have to have discernment. You have to know what you're resonating with. If you're not resonating with what is pure, if you don't have inner peace, you should not be channeling, because you're definitely going to connect with things that are resonating in these gridworks that are connected by law, by natural law, with these unhealed traumas in yourself. You're going to be picking up on all kinds of stuff. Now, it doesn't mean that if you have this this awakening and this beautiful spiritual experience that helped you a lot, it doesn't mean that it wasn't real if it helped you. So this is where discernment comes in. Was it healthy is the question. Is it for the best? Is it for the good of all, you know? Is it for everyone's highest good? You know, that's what you should always ask yourself. You know, if you're doing a spell to manipulate someone else, that is not Christed, that is not pure, that is aggressive towards another human being, that is going to keep you in this cycle of karma, and it's going to attach you to a whole bunch of other spirits that will whisper all kinds of things in your ears just to back up and reinforce this Luciferian grid that you have in you that's selfish. So the first thing you got to do is witness the grid, see everything for what it is exactly, study. You know, people that were trapped in the Yahweh grid, which I think has been dismantled from the negative aliens, but I think people that were under its control for a long time might be now in these crazy biblical programs in their head, playing out biblical stuff. The Michael-Mary reversal thing is the way that it clips the wings. is it's distorting the blue ray and the purple ray. So the blue ray is a masculine third eye and the purple ray is a feminine crown. And when these two join in union, it gives you wings to soar higher. But it's also divine masculine, divine feminine in human form counterparts, so-called twin flames, or just divine counterparts. When a man and a woman comes together, you get another light body wings. And you get to know yourself more deeply. Because when do you feel more like a woman than when you have the love of a good man that you can give love to? When do you feel more like a man than when you have the love of a good woman that you can give love to? These things lift you higher, raise your vibration. This is what real ascension is about. It's the unification of divine masculine and divine feminine. And so we have these crazy reversal gridworks going on now to make men hate women and women hate men, and to make women hate themselves and make men hate themselves. And it's working. These gridworks are seriously, like, look how gender effed all these kids are. You know, and it's pretty easy for them to just latch on to the frequency of confusion and lack of self-identity and just pump out a bunch of stuff. You know, if you don't believe in MK Ultra, do some effing research. You know, I'm not here to convince you of anything. Take it or leave it, what I say. I'm just sharing information, okay? So what I see happening, that how everything gets even more and more and more messed up. Like, yeah, obviously everybody, all these kids are totally confused about their genders. Then you have springing up to retaliate, these so-called woke groups, to say a circle of guys going to, like, they're trying to get their manhood back, or a circle of women trying to get their womanhood back, and the circle of women turn into neo-feminists, and they're just hating on men in their circle. And most of them are hating on men because they're traumatized. They were, you know, sexually abused as a child, or they're carrying generational trauma, and it just gets reinforced in these groups that are meant to be supportive, but they end up doing more damage than good. And you even have men that end up befriending these neo-feminists, some of them, and they end up becoming neo-feminists themselves and hating on themselves and hating on their gender. It's really ridiculous. And then you have these poor guys that are trying to feel like men because they're getting castrated in this society. And instead they end up hating on women because they're all a bunch of guys that were traumatized by women, and they feed on each other like that and reinforce their hatred towards women. And they end up repelling women instead of attracting them. So you end up having a whole bunch of guys that don't think they're chauvinists. They think they're just getting back their manhood, but they're totally chauvinist, most of these guys. Like, I've yet to see a guys group that is not either chauvinist or neo-feminist. Like, there's guys who are neo-feminists too. As I don't understand guys, I don't claim to, and I'm not even gonna try, you know, because to me, that is the greatest mystery. I'm a woman, and the mystery is the opposite sex. And for a man, I believe that should be the mystery too. The mystery should be the opposite sex, and they shouldn't pretend to know better about who a woman is because they studied something esoterically and have a PhD, or like, I don't know what. You will never know what being a woman is unless you are a woman. And you know, getting your penis stuffed in to be made of vagina does not make you a woman, and it never will. You know, and this isn't hate speech. This is just the truth. To be a woman means you have a womb, or you were born with a womb. You could give birth. That is what it is to be a woman. And to be a man, you're the protector of that woman. You know, your vagina fell out and became a penis. Okay? There's clear differences in the physical body that you're given, because the physical body is made over the light body, and the light body is made determined from your light codes and your essences. So no matter how much you change your body to fit how you want to be, you know, if you're a woman who became a man 200 years from now and they dig up your skeleton, you're a woman. You know, they're going to tell from your bones. you're a woman. There's nothing you can do to change your sex. You can identify however you want. Do whatever you want. It's a free country, but what bothers me is these agendas of gridworks of confusion, which create chaos. And right now they're trying to redefine all of our definitions, so we can't even talk anymore. And trying to censor everything. And the definition of a woman is she has a womb. And now the government is trying to say, replace the word mother with birthing people. This is all very, very wrong, okay? And if you don't see how wrong this is, maybe my channel isn't for you. I have nothing against gays, transvestites, transgenders. I have everything against the agenda that is trying to push this on children and gender F confuse the children. It's up to an adult to do whatever the heck you want to do. But you're really deluding yourself if you call yourself, say, a two-spirit. I've met a real one. Two-spirit is born with kind of both, there's natural hermaphrodites. Well, the one I met was born a woman, but then she needed to take hormones to get her period. Her ovaries were the size of sesame seeds, and she was always tomboyish, and I did a treatment on her. Her energy was out of this world, and she didn't even know how magical she was. And I could feel it right away. And that's why the natives really respected the two spirits, because they saw the essence right away. It's a different energy that, it doesn't mean you're gay. It means you're carrying two essences of both the sexes, and it lightens up your light body even more. Obviously, we all have masculine and feminine essences within us. But as a man, you're a man. As a woman, you're a woman. Your third eye is always going to be masculine. Your crown is always going to be feminine. Aquarius is always going to be a masculine zodiac sign. Cancerians are always going to be a feminine zodiac sign. No matter what your sex is, you have these masculine and feminine qualities interwoven into us, but it doesn't change who you are gender-wise. These are definitions, Anyway, got a little sidetracked there, because everybody should be very aware of this Michael Mary inversion that is really pitting men and women against each other. It's you have to be very vigilant, very hyper vigilant even, to constantly clear programming that you're picking up from AI, from your traumas, from your karma, from past lives, and from your male groups and female groups, friends, what have you. If you're taking somebody else's path, it's not your path. You should never follow anyone except your own heart. You should listen to everyone so you can be aware of all the gridworks that are out there. So you could choose to jump here or jump in there if you choose to, and see where this rabbit hole goes and where that one goes. But always jump out and back to get out of the box. See the larger picture for what it is. And go to your core, right into your core, right into center. Is where you go, when you go into the center of this big sphere, that's where you can bring things into balance, harmonize, see what's what, and cause the wheel of destiny to turn, because you're going to be at the fulcrum in the center. So I hope this helps some people. I hope this makes sense. It's a lot to pack in. But yeah, this is why a lot of people call this a prison planet. It's the gridworks that are keeping us in prison, these gridworks of consciousness. And it's likened to a kind of hell. Hell is here on earth, that eighth sphere of Hades. It can be a scary place. But the thing is, they feed on fear. All the dark shit feeds on fear. So if you don't want to get trapped into these scary places, just go to center or get outside of the box and observe. And have faith. Do not fear. Think of the spirits of Christos. Patience, kindness, purity, generosity, diligence, humility, and the spirit of conservation. Just like focus on those things. Focus on what is healthy. And you can just ascend right out of this. Get out of the karma and into your true dharma, and just ascend. Okay, have a great night, everybody. Bye.